All right, let's get on to my
Anywho,
topic.
close us out. Bring
Talking
it
about
home.
speed running. This will
Oh,
probably be fairly short, as is appropriate. We're going to speed run through this
we're gonna
topic.
speed run this
Yeah.
last topic. So,
SGDQ starts this coming Sunday, which will be the day before this episode releases. For those who don't know, GDQ stands for Games Done Quick. They are a semi-annual charity speedrun event. It's put on by the speedrun community. They raise money for different charities. Prevent Cancer Foundation in the winter. In the summer,
there's A and S.
Yeah, there's A and S. Awesome Games Done Quick. This is Summer Games Done Quick. They're raising money for Doctors Without Borders. Last summer, they raised almost $1.8 million over 8 days, basically. And AGDQ's previous years, their highest fundraiser yet, they made $2.3 million for Prevent Cancer Foundation. So they raise a lot of money. The events are always cool, particularly if you're into speedrunning, which I'm not really a part of the community anymore, I guess. But I have speedrun stuff I've talked about before on the podcast. So before GDQs were very you would see the same stuff every year, but what I've appreciated they've been doing lately is putting different kinds of runs in. More races.
Mixing it up a lot more.
We got the rando race last year for Link to the Past, which was amazing, and probably my favorite run of the event. They're
the 2 games, 1 controller.
Yeah, they're doing a lot more interesting stuff like that, and I'm glad to see they're sticking with that, because some of the old stuff, like your Super Metroid race every year.
There's some games just don't have a lot of innovation in their speedrunning.
And there's still some of that I'm disappointed with, and we'll kind of talk about it. And you might be surprised to hear me be disappointed with this. But no, one of the big runs is the run that always starts off the marathon. It's always the get hype. There's always a huge burst of money. I'm surprised they picked Banjo-Tooie to start the marathon.
Really?
Yeah, it's being run by Garage Door Opener, who I don't know anything about. But Banjo-Kazooie is an immensely popular speedrun. It's definitely a top 10 probably game people talk about. A lot of the N64 games are, but Banjo-Tooie I never hear people talk about. So I'm surprised that they went with this for the first one. After that is Spyro the Dragon, which I could have seen making a lot more sense. But yeah, there's some interesting runs. The first day usually has a bunch of big games, and the last day they've got Spyro after that. They got a Kirby game. Shantae is a very popular speed game. Warcraft 3, they're doing Majora's Mask 3D. Everybody loves the Majora's Mask speedruns. And something interesting about Majora's Mask 3D versus the console version, the games are really different, weirdly. Like the routing and how you do stuff and the glitches. So they're very different runs. So
I guess just different glitches?
Yeah, so one year they'll have the console version, then the next year they'll do a version like the handheld. They'll do that for Ocarina of Time too. Doom 16 is a very popular run. A lot of the Bethesda games are actually pretty popular, and they're usually pretty glitchy.
Right.
So those are always fun. I love the Elder Scrolls runs where they beat the game in 30 seconds.
I basically watch for the races though, and weird stuff. Or
the races are some of the best part, and that's the first day. I want to talk about more of the runs I'm excited about, and I didn't know if there was any that you guys were interested in seeing. So Mega Man 6 race. The Mega Man races are always really good.
And they have 2 this year, right?
They've got, I think they have Mega Man 8 as well.
On a different day, they've got another race.
Yeah, which is weird. They usually put all the Mega Man games in one
block.
There's
2 mini blocks this year.
Yeah. I'm trying to find it.
For me, I think probably Pokemon.
That's
2
on
games,
my
1
list.
controller will be my number 1 thing to watch.
Pokemon Red and Yellow, 2 games, 1 controller. One person will be playing both Pokemon games at the same time on 1 controller. It's going to be insane how this is going to work. How will the RNG work out? Are they going to do RNG manip? I used to run Pokemon Red, so I don't know how this is going to work. Both Pokemon Red and Yellow go for Nidoran.
Yeah, you probably can't do a RNG manip, at least not
I don't think
easily.
you could, because I think they work different for both games. So I don't.
Right.
It's going to be crazy. Dragon Warrior 3, I'm really excited about. Because I love that game. That's the NES version.
I'll be honest, Warcraft 3 looks very fun to me.
The Warcraft ones are... Someone did the Arthas campaign a few years back. Maybe it was like a year ago. It was a really fun run to watch. A lot of the RTS ones are fun to watch because the people are really knowledgeable. And it's fun to watch how, like, they usually have like a hand cam on them and stuff. It's fun to see how their hands move and stuff like that, and they talk while they play. They're basically, it's all like super micromanaging in like a split second. Those are always really fun to watch.
I'm sad there are no Soulsborne games, but
yeah,
I mean, there have been like I think there's been one practically at like every event for a while, so it's not surprising.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Kingdom Hearts is back. They usually don't do 2 Kingdom Hearts games and events back to back. Catherine will be interesting. It's 1 player, 2 controllers. The guy Golo2 who runs it is a pretty. I think he's been trying to get Catherine into GDQ for a long time, and he finally got it in.
What is generally the longest they will let someone, or like, what is the longest run?
They used to have, I think the longest run they ever did, or at least that I know of, is Final Fantasy IX. Was a 2-day run, and it was like 11 hours.
2 days? Oh.
It wasn't 2 days long total.
Yeah.
But it was, they split it up over 2 days. They cut the run in half and did part of it one day and like disc 3 and on the next day.
Interesting.
It was like 10 or 11 hours.
Wow.
And then they had the donation incentive to get Excalibur 2 and stuff like that. So
yeah. Oh yeah, that's another big part of it is they often have incentives for different games, like name someone, do certain part of a run.
Yeah, and that's usually how they raise a lot of their money.
Yeah, save versus kill the animals is always like the biggest thing
for Super Metroid. And Super Metroid this year again, they're not doing a race. They're doing I think 100% map completion. Run.
It used to always be like the last run, just about, right?
Yeah, it was always like the run before last.
Yeah, now they've started moving it around more.
Yep, with last, I don't think it was even in GDQ in the AGDQ. I think they took a break, which has never happened. It's Ostengos, who's like one of the top.
Oh yeah, wow! They're doing Final Fantasy VI this year. That's estimated 7 hours.
Yeah, they do. That's something I'm kind of disappointed with. Is they lean on Final Fantasy 6 and 4 a lot, and I would like, but because they're more of the shorter. Items. Yeah, and they're more of the shorter ones. It always feels like Puexel's running like this or Chrono Trigger or Final Fantasy, or someone's running Final Fantasy 4. I'd like to see them do more like they did Final Fantasy 7 a few years ago. It's like a pretty short run. I think it's only like 3.5 or 4 hours long. Because you'll basically like wrong warp to the end of the game, like towards the beginning of disc 2, I think. But I'd love to see that, but 8 and 9 are just so long, and 10 are just so long of runs. Like 13's been in a few times because it's pretty short.
Yeah.
But who cares about 13?
Yeah.
Super Mario Makers, they always do something cool with it. This is probably going to be their big money thing. They're going to.
I think so too because it's a 3v3 blind race.
Yeah, they've done it twice, and it's been huge both times they've done it.
I assume it's blind levels, so I'm assuming they're not told what levels they're going to get.
Exactly,
to play.
They don't get to
not
play
blindfolded,
them. No,
which they've done.
Yeah.
People have like they did a Pokemon blindfold race one year.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Well, they always get they did the blind punch out I think did they do blind punch out 2 games 1 controller? I think they did that last year.
I don't remember if it was blind, but it was 2 games 1 controller.
The Mexican runner always plays Battletoads blind. So that's always the thing. So yeah, that's going to be cool. I'm looking forward to Ocarina of Time. They're doing bingo. I don't know how. I was talking to Mal about this before we started recording. Bingo is usually like a team race or a race dynamic thing where you're competing to get bingo on a board and you have to do certain objectives like collect this heart piece at this location or something like that. So it's kind of like your test of game knowledge and routing and when you can do stuff and trying to like cut off stuff from your opponent and knowing maybe what they've done. So I don't know how it's going to work with one person, but we'll see. Mario Maker is going to be hot because it'll just raise a lot of money. Carl Sagan and Grand Pooh Bear are really big in that community. I think Carl Sagan's like a really big stage maker, actually, and they always have really hard stages and crazy stuff, so they'll have some cool donation incentives. I always love the I Am Bread. Watching that being speedrun for some reason. It's one of those dumb, like, this game's hard to control games. It's just goofy.
That's an interesting game. That's silly.
I'm glad Wind Waker HD is here because I like the runner Linkus, and they get to show off like the big skips. I think he did this game a year and a half ago, and it was like 2 hours longer. They found like barrier skip where you get to skip a really big part of the, like, basically like a really important item, I think.
I think generally some of the more entertaining skips are the ones where they kind of end up breaking a lot of the game.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Jump through just big sections of and it's always best in like the long adventure games, because then it's like a game that should take you potentially 50, 40 hours to complete on like your first run through. They're doing this in like an hour or two. There's something about that just always makes me laugh when they're cutting through so much time on a game.
Dude, it's always funny. Especially if you haven't seen the glitches.
They're running Prey, so that's a game where you end up glitching out of the
it's probably
station,
like 10 minutes. The world
it's
record
50
there.
minutes actually, but
That's the estimate. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember. There might be like cut screens and stuff you can't really skip.
I think the only downside with Prey is that like you can quite literally like break tons with that game to the point where there really isn't a game. It's 15 minutes, mostly unskippable cutscenes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it says no OOB.
Out of bounds.
Oh, that's why it's taking 50 minutes. No out of bounds.
Yeah,
what?
That's basically how you skip a lot of the game.
Yeah, I think the record is like 11 or something.
It's really short.
Yeah.
Goof Troop co-op is going to be awesome. I still remember the one player, two controllers Goof Troop co-op run, where he basically put both the SNES controllers back to back and then played with his middle fingers on one side, his thumbs on one. It was amazing.
That's sick.
That was awesome. Really looking forward to Super Mario 64, which is one of my favorite runs to watch, and they have like the top two players in the world racing against each other in 70 Star. And every time like they have this race, it's always super close, and it's really good. So I'm looking forward to that. And Skyward Sword, but that's super late, so I'll have to like watch the VOD of my favorite Zelda game. Eat it, people. So yeah, there's a Sonic block as always. I don't really like Sonic speedruns personally. Castlevania block looks cool. We get 1, 3, Bloodlines, and Circle of the Moon. Just lots of cool stuff in here.
Oh, the Monkey Ball games are always
Monkey Ball's awesome.
One of my favorites to watch.
Those games are supposed to be really, really hard to speedrun.
Yeah.
Like insane. They're like supposed to be like some of the hardest games to speedrun. Weirdly enough.
They are quite entertaining. Sometimes it's like, because it's like you manipulate the ground, so sometimes you can just like smack the ball and try and hit it across the map.
Yeah, and it's like, I have to land here. Oh. Yep. It's like playing golf, basically.
Pretty much.
So I'm super excited. I look forward to these events all year. I look forward to this. I look forward to AGDQ, RPG Limit Break. GDQ is going to start doing more stuff too. I think they announced that they were doing like 2 days over TwitchCon. Let's see if I can find the announcement.
Well, they did like spin up one event real quick for the hurricane last year.
Yes, they did. Harvey Relief, done quick. Yeah, GDQ to host a speedrunning marathon at TwitchCon. They're calling it GDQ Express. It's taking place over 3 days. So
that's interesting.
Yep, they haven't announced who's running, or I think they've just announced. It was basically like a week ago they announced they were doing it. So,
I mean, yeah, I think a lot of speedrunners these days are like they use Twitch as well, so it's a really good partnership.
A lot of them are there.
Yeah, exactly. They're already going to be there.
Yep. So I'm looking forward to it. It'll already be going on by the time you hear this. Check it out, support them, watch it. It's a good charity, and it's lots of fun. and just check out the VODs too. You get to see some of your favorite video games get literally broken wide open. So, yeah. All right, this has been episode 56 of Podcast of Five Rings, your source of enlightenment in their own video games, tabletop, anime, film, and tech. Each episode of Podcast of Five Rings wastes Monday mornings on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Talk Day by Day on YouTube, with full video releasing on Friday. Check us out on Twitter, Podcast5R, Facebook, P5R Podcast. Check out the various streams, twitch.tv/PSOFlow and Podcast of Five Rings. Let's sign off. Let's go watch some Fully Cooley Season 2, right?
Yeah.
Later.
I'm listening to it right now.
Oh, yeah.